Alright, so I've made a little more progress, been testing it out and working on it some more, the RC car. I made this nifty little front bumper because I realized that I just intuitively want to pick it up from the front, but you can't do that because of all the steering components. You can't pick it up from those. So I added, these two rails and things. I made it more aesthetic, but it is not going anywhere. I've crash tested it already, and so the front bumper is, it's this solid rod that's not even hollow. It's the same tower rack pieces this is made of. And then I'm slowly working on the body mount. I don't have it finished yet. It's still just kind of flimsy. I need to cut that off. Like, this is a temporary, just so I could drive it around with like at least one point of connection and see if I wanted to use the body and all that. And I think I'm gonna use it, so I'll get that sorted out and fully finish the body mount after I take off all the electronics and things. And yeah. So one thing is, like, it turns out whenever I steer really hard and it locks, whenever I steer really hard and the tire locks into right here, that's not actually a bad thing. Because of the way this gearbox is, when you press the steer button, it doesn't just spring load any direction. It stays wherever you stopped pressing the button. So like if I pressed it for like a second, it'll turn a little bit and stay right there and just turn infinitely until I push the button either direction again. And then, so whenever it does that, it locks the one wheel and it makes it do donuts. It means it can turn on a dime, basically. So what was a bug is, I'm considering that now a feature. So even if I change out the battery or reposition the battery, I might make a thing that's just for that, like a little brake pad thing that comes out to the same point, or maybe I'll let it get a little, because it's damn close to having full steering without. Let's see if I can show it. Alright, oh, I took the steering bar off. One moment. That's why you can't pick it up from the front. Because if you pick it up from the front, you're lifting up on this, and this is like spring-loaded. Forces are pushing it down into the things, but if you pull it up, it's going to pop out. But yeah, check this out. So I don't need to build in steering stops because, yes, it's touching there, only barely, enough to, cause braking, but also it's pretty much there it is. It touches there too. So maybe if I come back another inch or so, I think it is. I can't remember. But because I don't need to squish the tire that much. The tire mostly is stopping me from bumping that metal against that metal, which is, I'm okay with that. And these are beefy little tires, but they're not the best. So yeah, I am going to rearrange the battery, get a little more steering, and then I'll probably make a little thing so that when I full lock it, it still touches the tire and locks that inner tire on purpose. Because it doesn't do that by accident now that I've gotten used to driving it. It's like I said, you have to hold it down until it goes there, and then you can let off, and it'll just stay wherever you let off. So it's very easy to drive. It's very fun, and I'm excited to get it finished. I'm probably going to beef up the steering mounts. Nothing has happened yet, but it does wiggle a little bit while I'm steering it, so that is concerning, so I'll beef that up. Now, I'm currently charging it, but I'm not sure. I already put a new controller and remote on watch. They're only like $30 for the whole set for that and this. So I think I burn it up. I don't know. It won't go anymore. But that's just a wiring issue. Simple, replace this part. I don't think it's the motors, which I'm gonna test directly here soon. but I'm charging the battery because I did run the battery pretty dead. So hopefully that was the only issue. But yeah, I tested this thing in the sun, in the heat for quite a while. I got the back popped off of it right now because I had it all apart to check if I burn it up, and I can't see anything. There's no little tiny burnt spots or none of the diodes or anything's messed up or corroded or swelled up or anything on the PCB. So we'll see once I get it charged, but that's no big deal because like I said, these are only like 30 bucks for the set. You can get them. And that's that. I mean, I'm just going to keep building the frame out, and I think for the... because this body is so flimsy. I was thinking I could get away with just 2 points of contact, front and rear. Nope. It's too wobbly and flimsy. So I'm going to have to like build a... I think I've got enough round stock metals that I'm going to have to build like a little... kind of like a roll cage that it just cradles this or whatever this sits on. So it means it'll look neat without the body too, but it's a lot of extra steps just to... but it does mean that, yeah, it'll look neat, and I can like make body paneling so that if I ever get rid of this body or it gets destroyed, I can just... it'll look neat without it. Which, who knows, I might wind up not using it if I do a good enough job building the roll cage thingy. So far the steering hasn't like bent or anything, and I know it looks like that part's bent and stuff, but I did that on purpose. That's because I didn't precision build this. I just kind of bent these parts, put them together, but nothing is precision. So when I put them together at their original angles, where this one was over a little bit straight with that one, then one of the tires was in, this tire was in further than this tire was towed in. So it just kind of brute forced it out until it equaled where it needed to be, which meant that. And it works fine. It's like, it doesn't have to, like, when this is, there's enough play in everything that it doesn't matter. And when this is pointing straight, it's still going straight, which it doesn't really have to be. This could be over here and it could be straight. The wheels could be like, and there's still enough turning radius and everything. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be as precision fit as I thought it did. It's just I have to get enough of the geometry right for it to steer, and I did that here. Finally figured that out, and like I said, I'm quite proud of this front bumper piece. I took the time and dremeled it and stuff. It's not fully finished, but it's not just tacked, it's like actually on there now. And yeah, I don't know if I ever showed the bottom of the frame, like how it's actually built. It's just a piece of square tubing as the main frame rail, and I just keep adding shit to it, you know. That's that piece that wraps all the way around, because I noticed it needed a rock slider for the little motors there, and yeah, it just wraps all the way around. I might change that out, I don't know yet. But yeah, I gotta build the body mounts next, which will be like the roll cage looking thing, and I guess I'm gonna have to come off of down here or here or something for the upper front bits. I thought about making mounts that attach to this, but it looks so good just sitting independently like that I don't want to attach or do anything else with it. I'm just gonna leave that be, clean it up some more maybe, and that is a really good point of contact to like pick it up and do stuff with. But yeah, that's pretty much the only update I've got. I'm thinking, because this thing weighs about 20 pounds by itself right now, I put it on a little bathroom scale over there. And I'm thinking I want to, and I even doubled that. I've stacked a bunch of stuff up on it, 20 more pounds. And it's got the torque. So like when these parts were in the Power Wheels, it could pull me just fine and go full speed and go up slight inclines and everything. So I know the components have the power to do the job. And being on smaller wheels should have even more torque than it had before. It just goes slower. So I don't have the traction. It just does a burnout so easily. It just cuts loose. So I think I need to weigh this thing down close to 100 pounds. I miniaturized the components too much, basically. Like, it's too small for what it is and what I want to do with it, because I want to make it actually do work. So, like, if not pulling me or something, or pushing snow, or just playing with it whilst being useful and productive and having fun at the same time. So that means I need to weigh this thing down a lot. So I'm going to change up how the battery is, maybe even change the battery. Well, yeah, I'm going to run a 24 volt system on it. That controller, I think, is a 24 volt. No, that one's a 12 volt. The one I have on watch is a 24 volt, but it's identical to that one pretty much. So it just says a different thing. It comes with its own controller that's identical to this one and everything. So, and I do want to up the voltage. I was thinking 36, but I can't find them in 36, so 24, that'll get me a little more RPMs. And, yeah, I don't know, I'm excited. So I'm thinking I was going to use these springs, not on these mounts, but just these springs on something else. But now I'm thinking, because I need to add a bunch of dead weight to it, I might cut the frame in the middle there, put a pivoty bit to where both sections can pivot, put a pivoty bit to where both sections can pivot from each other, and then all the rest of this separate from the motors and maybe the controller. I don't know. But the rest of that be unsprung weight, so the motors and everything down here be unsprung weight, and then the batteries and then all the dead weight that I add to it could be sprung weight, which would, you know, make it more realistic as far as suspension-y bits go. I was just going to leave it with no suspension and rely on just that for like traction and stuff, but it does flip easy if I'm, you know, going down this and then I slant it. It's very top heavy right now, and it's going to be even more top heavy later. So these squishy springs, you know, there's 4 of them and they're pretty squishy. If I do it right, I think I could get quite a bit of weight on them and still have some springy, suspension-y, and the pivot bit in the middle. So that pivot bit will be simple and easy to make. But what won't be simple and easy is all of the cage, and then figuring out how to make dead weight in this. I don't know. I got to figure out what weighs more and what I want to use for weight that can fit inside up here in all this area, basically, because the top of the roof goes to there, and then, you know, like pretty much all the way out to there, and down to there. So I've got a lot of space to add weight. So, and then, yeah, once I can basically make the cage to, well, yeah, that makes sense now. So there will be a whole upper half that will be attached to these suspension-y bits, and so I won't be using that probably. Yeah, give me some time. That might take like a month to get around to that, but this will be the last little video on this for a little while because, well, it doesn't run and I've got a lot more work to do on it. It's fun testing it and playing with it, but I need to quit before I destroy it even more, before I fully weld everything up. I need to tear it down, so I don't have enough. I've been avoiding tearing it down. I've been welding it today with the stuff all on it, which isn't really doing it any good either. So, but I'm avoiding it because if I take it off, I can't put it back on. I don't have any more zip ties for the month or things to put it back together. So I've been just playing with it and kind of half-ass welding stuff on, except the front here. I really did a good job with that. But that's half-ass welded on because it was right next to the controller, and I even untaped the controller and moved it back and everything, and I still wasn't willing to burn in that to where it broke loose. That's what that is. It was all the way up there and it broke loose, but that's because it's right, and I caught the motor on fire, but I didn't, it's not bad, I didn't ruin it. because it was still working well after that for a while. I think what I did was I either ruined the controller or tripped it or something. I've already unplugged everything and let it sit for a while. Now I'm just letting it charge for like, I don't know, 6-8 hours. And then once that happens, I will unplug the controller from the battery and let that sit for like another several hours. And then plug it all back in, see what happens. If nothing happens, then I'll wait till I can afford it and order that new set, which will allow me to double the voltage anyways. So, which would be great. So I kind of want to do that anyways, regardless. And then I got to go looking for different batteries, because I mean, I've got 2 of these, but I could use 2 of these for dead weight for the 24 volt setup and just have them like stacked or something. I might, but like, I don't know, I feel like there's better options out there. This is just what I have. I typically build stuff out of just what I have, but now that I have income, whenever I can put the money towards it, I will upgrade it, because I like this project. It's pretty cool. So I will make all of it better a little at a time. So, yeah. Hope you like it. Like, subscribe, share with friends. Trying to show people what it's like to build stuff for dirt cheap, sometimes with no money. So, I'm not trying to make any money off of YouTube or anything. I'm just trying to build stuff and show other people. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. That's all.